Hey guys, Fritz here. I know I haven't posted in a while, but I am back. I got a second place at the Houston ALIN Regional with a 47 card pile deck. Kind of cool. Wanted to show it off. The playmat's so nice, isn't it? Dragon Rollers, and we got this ugly thing. But anyways, so this was a pile deck, 47 cards. It has 4 different engines. Just want to show it off and kind of talk a little bit on the thought behind it. So for the first engine is the Primite engine. It's pretty straightforward, 3 barrel, 3 load, 1 drill beam, 1 dippity. So the dippity is a new card in ALIN. It is a level 4 light fiend, 0 attack defense. The reason I'm playing this one, I was playing Neobug before at the Houston YCS in my Primite Ryzeal deck, which I did day 2 with and missed top, unfortunately. But this card right here is like a perfect bridge between the Primite, the Ryzeal, and the Fiendsmith cards because it's a level 4 and it's a light fiend. So you can do stuff like go barrel. So if you have another Primite card in hand, you can go barrel, set, load, load, add drill beam, set drill beam, and then load summon dippity, and then you can just go link 1 dippity into Requiem, and I'll show this later, but that's like another interruption for free essentially. Anyway, so this is those were the Primite cards, Fiendsmith cards. So obviously these 3, and then I played 3 and 3 of tracked engraver. The reason being is these are both extenders without using my normal summon, where barrel is pretty much always using my normal summon, right? So these cards let me keep pushing if my other stuff gets stopped. I know a lot of people are playing 2 engraver right now. I just wanted to see more of these cards and kind of drown out my bricks. So that's why we're playing 3 and 3. These cards are really good. These and the Primite cards are like the main win condition of the deck. The rest of the deck, the rest of the engines are mainly to facilitate these cards, which you will see in just a moment. Here we go. And Lacrima being a level 4 is really important, which I'll talk about in the other stuff. So there's the Fiendsmith stuff. And then we played Ryzeal cards. I know everyone's bored of Ryzeal, but I think it's kind of cool if we're playing them with Primite cards, right? So we played all the good ones, a bonfire, and then 1 cross 1 node is the bricks. So the idea here is it just gave me, oh no, my camera keeps shifting. There we go. It gave me another recursive engine that has really high quality individual cards, and I can access it through both the Primate cards and the Fiendsmith cards, right? Because any rank 4 gets me to these cards. So these were really good. It works really well with the 3rd engine or with the 4th engine, but essentially you would either use these as like your last push after all your other engines exhausted hand traps, or you would use it as like probably the second push, with the first push almost always being Kashtira or Fiendsmith. I'll go a little bit more over some of the combo stuff you can do with it later, but these cards are really good. I mean, I really wish they had not hit Ryzeal. I think Ryzeal is a pretty fair deck. But anyways, the last engine is I don't know if you can call it an engine, but we're calling it an engine because I'm playing this card. It's 3 Fenrir and then a Ryzeal. This is really cool, and people don't really seem to understand why it's so cool. And because this card lets you kind of bridge all your engines with the Fenrir, right? So let's say you open Fenrir by itself. You can go Fenrir search Ryzeal, normal Ryzeal, use effect. This is important because you can hit like random 1 of bricks and just auto lose the game. Force people to auto lose the game. For instance, like the Mitsurugi lists are playing 1 Ame no Murakumo. So if you hit the Murakumo off of this, you win the game on the spot. If you hit like the Combined Creation and Memento, you win the game on the spot. Like there are a lot of really good 1 of cards that hit off of this. So that effect is actually not a meme. And it also stops you from like top decking into another Fenrir. But anyways, so special Fenrir, Fenrir add Ryzeal, normal normal Ryzeal effects banish a Fenrir from deck. We only have one bad draw left in deck, the Fenrir. And then we go Link 2 for Moon into Fiendsmith combo. And the reason we do this over leaving a Fenrir on the field is because the Fiendsmith stuff is better follow-up, and it gives more interruptions, right? Because you get two DDD negates plus the Fiendsmith trap. But anyways, so these cards are really important. Oh yeah, and I guess I'll wait till the end. Then for hand traps, we played 17. There's a lot, but we were playing 47 cards, right? So we need to draw these cards. 3 Ash, 3 Nib, 3 Fua, 3 Imperm, Juris Mag. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. These cards are all really good. These cards are beyond broken right now because they hit both the Fiendsmith cards and they hit the Mitsuguri cards, which are really popular. I almost didn't play them, and thank God my friend Mitchell convinced me to play them. Yeah, these cards are really good, and you play 17, so it's pretty likely you draw 2. And the draw card's really, really strong as well right now. So. All right, I'm going to show the extra deck next. So hand traps over here. The extra deck is broken into really 2 sections. You have the Ryzeal cards, and these are just like rank 4s plus stuff to summon off of the yeah, just rank 4s. So we have our aggregator, the send off of X, which doesn't actually come up that much, but it does come up. And then our rank 4s. I only opted to play 1 duo and 1 twins because in the end, this really isn't a Ryzeal deck. These cards are very strong. You still will use them, but it's not a Ryzeal deck. It's more of a Fiendsmith Primite deck that plays Ryzeal cards. So otherwise, the stuff to note is that the Baguska is really important with the Primite cards, because the other end board you can go with Primite is you can go, if you open a second Primite card, either load or barrel turns into Drillbeam Baguska, which is pretty hard to out for a lot of decks right now. The only deck that is not going to struggle with this is like Malice, but I mean, like Drillbeam is already a kind of subpar interruption versus Malice a lot of times, so. But that still can win, which is funny, right? Like that can still definitely beat Malice, win games against Malice. But anyways, these cards were great. I don't think I would change any of this. Next cards were the Fiendsmith cards. So what we got? So these are fusions. Here are fusions. And then, I mean, it's like pretty much the normal stuff. 1 Requiem, 1 Sequence, 1 Closed Moon, 1 Agumde, 1 Wave King. I guess the only thing that's a little bit different is I played the Duke of Demise. And I think this card is going to see a lot more popularity in Fiendsmith decks because it's a really quality card to summon off a sequence sometimes. Sometimes you don't actually want to summon the Desiree. The Duke gives you additional normal summon, which is good, but it also lets you add back Engraver from your discard. And if you haven't gone through Engraver's effect, like if you started through Moon or you started with Attract, it just lets you get back to an Engraver, which is pretty good sometimes. Yeah, no, these cards were great. This is like honestly the best cards in the deck. Well, no, sorry, the Primite cards are the best cards in the deck. These are the second best cards in the deck. They just let you do so much, and they do help bridge into the Ryzeal stuff, which I'll show in a bit. Hypothetically, Caesar's insane, but like that card never resolves. And then the last card, this is what I cut the second duo for, is SP, and I'm glad I did. This is very important as well, because the Fiendsmith cards, besides Desiree Send, don't have a great way to interact with back row. And right now, the only thing that interacts with back row in my deck is Detonator, which you don't always get to. Like, you're only playing, how many? 6, 7 Ryzeal starters in your 47 card deck, so it's not that likely you draw them. And the Drill Beam, which is only face ups. So this card lets you interact with those as well as being really good into the Mitsurugi deck, because the Mitsurugi deck Like the Ryzeal Mitsurugi decks that people are playing a single Amino. So if you banish their Amino, the game ends. Because their Ryzeal deck does not do enough anymore. Like you need the Mitsurugi cards. It's a Mitsurugi deck with Ryzeal cards. So this is really important for the grind game. It just lets you out stuff for free on like the following turns. And then the side deck is pretty straightforward. We have our call by for going first. Storm Dusters, back row sucks. Dark Ruler, which I'll explain in a minute. Jellyfish, which you play against the Ryzeal Mitsurugi deck, and even you put this in versus Malice too. Then we have warnings, and then Lancias. Lancias, self-explanatory. Brulia, pretty self-explanatory. You just need more Charmies going second. These cards that everyone's playing as well. These are just high-quality cards, bait up a lot of Solemns and stuff from the back row. Call by, just generically going good. Good going first card. I would generally side out a single imperm for this. It would be my going first side pattern was 3 Fuas plus the imperm for 3 warnings plus the call by. The reason I picked warning over strike or judgment is because warning is more generic. It's more generically good. It hits Mitsuguri with the ritual spell, with the quick play, and then still it hits inherit summons, which is really good. And then against Malice, it hits their special summon like return effects, which otherwise you can just really get fucked by Malice if they don't. Yeah, it's just bad. It's bad. We'll put it that way. So this has better coverage right now. Will that continue in the future? I don't know, but these are really good right now. So anyways, oh, and then the Dark Rulers is for just a bunch of random decks. Like, for instance, the Live Twin deck, the Dark Ruler card is pretty good versus, because they can't chain, like, the... it doesn't really... Like, they end with a lot of monster interruptions, and this will stop, like, Desiree, this will stop the DDD, this will stop the Trouble Sunny. Like, it outs almost all their interactions on its own. And I don't think that deck's super popular, but this is also good versus random stuff like White Forest, right? So, I think in an ideal world, if I'd been able to find the card, this card should have been Spell Shattering Arrow, or Anti-Magic Arrow, that's what it's called. And if you don't know what Anti-Magic Arrow is, it is a quick play spell that at the start of the battle phase, you activate it. Neither player can respond, so it can never get negated. And it goes ahead and says no player, like neither player can activate Spore Traps or Spore Trap effects for the rest of the turn. So against the Mitsuguri deck, that's almost all of their interactions, right? Because they need to use prayers or they need to use the trap to tribute off the Amino to revive it. And if you go ahead and anti-magic arrows, all their back row is dead, so they're sitting with a ritual on the field that doesn't do anything, and then maybe like a Detonator Cross. And Detonator Cross was not winning games last format when Ryzeal wasn't hit. So it's absolutely not going to win games now as well. So anyways, that was the idea, is if I had been able to find that card, I would have played it. But I wasn't, so this is what I played instead. And I only sided it in like 3 times, and I don't think I ever drew it. So, all right, anyways, what I did want to show here is kind of how the engines work together and how you can get to stuff. So I'll show the barrel thing that I was talking about first. So let's say you open like double barrel or just barrel plus anything. You go normal barrel, barrel set load, load add drill beam. The drill beam is in our hand. And so this is our hand. So at this point, what we can do is we can actually use load the special summon our Dippity, and we have 2 options. We can either overlay for Baguska and have Baguska drill beam because we can reveal the barrel from our hand. This is very strong into some decks. Or we can also go link the Dippity into a Requiem. Where are you, Requiem? And then we can't activate the Requiem right here, but on our opponent's turn, we can go Requiem, tribute itself, summon the Lacrima. the Lacrima dumped the trap, and then the Deputy is a light fiend in a graveyard that we can actually use the Lacrima to, or we can use the Paradise to get a send. So it turns just barrel plus another Primite card in the 2 interactions, and then you get Fiendsmith access for the next turn, right? And then the other, so some more kind of cool things you can do, and I can explain why this card. Okay, so these cards, I explained it a little bit, but these cards actually fulfill a very important purpose in the deck, which is that you need ways, generic ways that don't have like restrictions to get other bodies on the board with your barrel, because your barrel takes your normal summon generally, right? And you're not always going to resolve Duke of Demise for an extra normal summon. So these cards let you turn barrel plus extender into accessing multiple engines, which you would not have before. So to give an example, is if we open barrel plus Fenrir, we can go special or Fenrir, normal or barrel, and we always save our Fenrir search for after load, because load is the most important search in our deck. And then we use our load and we get our drill beam, right? So most important search in our deck. We always start with the load search if we can. And at this point, so if our opponent has not interacted with us, which generally they're going to interact with this card. If they don't interact with this card, that means, I mean, personally, I'm just going off. So what we can do here is we can go activate Fenrir. But we have 2 options. So if we want to go for Fiendsmith, so if we opened a Ryzeal card, we go for a Fiendsmith line, which I'll show later. But if these are the only cards we open, we can add Ryzeal. We can special Ryzeal, and then we can overlay for dual drive. It's like this. And then we can do the whole Ryzeal line, right? Because we're XC's locked, but that doesn't matter, right? Because we're just going to end our turn. We're just going to make a detonator with Cross, with Fenrir on the field, with the drill beam set, because we're summoning the vanilla alpha load, right? And the other line you can do is you can go, you can probably just add another Fenrir for follow-up, but you do add a Fenrir here, and I'll show why. So you just link 2 into Moon, into Requiem, and then at this point, you use your Requiem, and if they ash this, there's nothing on the field, so you can just special out the Fenrir, right? And if they don't ash this, you summon your Lacrima dump, and then you do like all the Fiendsmith stuff. And depending on what you're going for, like if I opened a Ryzeal name in my hand, what I can actually do here is I can go for the whole Fiendsmith line with and end on the Lacrima, either summoned back from the Gumday, or you can do it through the through just like summon Lacrima off of the Requiem, dump trap, and then you can just special your Ryzeal hand from hand, and by like just special X, and then overlay for duo, and then at that point you just have all 3 of your engines with interruptions, right? So anyways, I know that was like really random and not structured, but I just wanted to give some thought behind the reasons that I played this stuff that I did, and I was a huge fan of it. I really love the Primite cards. They're probably some of my favorite stuff that got released, just because it's a really recursive engine that has a lot of skill expression, and with the level 4 Deputy, like it lets you kind of link all your engines, which is nice. So yeah, anyways, that was like super rambly, and I'm sorry, but the deck was great. Like I said, I went X1 at the regional. I got 2nd place. I was 8-1. It definitely worked. You don't have to take my advice for it, but yeah. So anyways, I'll probably be taking a break now again, now that I got my invite for Nets, and I will go ahead and be playing Striker next format. So thanks guys, take it easy.